The Beagle mix had never done this before. In all the time they had shared a house, through moves, through seasons, through the various disruptions that accumulate in a family's life. The animal had never done this specific thing, and so when it began, there was no framework for it. There was only the behavior, observed and unexplained, and the family around it trying to decide what it meant. It began on a Tuesday. That was how most important things began in this family's life. Not dramatically, not at a moment of obvious significance, but on a Tuesday, unremarkably in the middle of a week that had seemed otherwise ordinary. The Beagle mix began. Beagle slept against baby's chest nightly. Cardiologist. It was measuring, and no one in the house knew what to do with this. The first day they watched. The second day they talked about it. One person said it was probably nothing. One person said it felt different from nothing. They went to sleep without resolving the disagreement. By the fourth day, the behavior had established itself as consistent enough to constitute a pattern. It happened at the same time, with the same focus, with the same quality of attention that made one of them, the one who had been saying it felt different from nothing, begin to take notes. What the notes showed was this: the behavior was not random. It was not seeking food or attention or play. It was oriented toward a specific place, or a specific person, or a specific condition, and it did not vary. Animals do random things, the way people do random things, out of boredom or impulse, or the particular circuitry of their biology. This was aimed. The pediatrician listened carefully when they called. She asked questions, the specific kind that suggested she had taken this call before. She asked about the baby's behavior, about sleep, about feeding, about whether there were any physical indicators they might have been too tired to register. They answered everything. She said, "I'd like to see the baby this week." The appointment was on Thursday. What they found at the appointment was not a crisis. It was, as these things often are, something that was on its way to becoming one, something in its early stage, when intervention is straightforward and outcomes are good. When the window is still open and the window closes in its own time and you do not always know how much time is left. They had found it early because an animal had paid attention to something no instrument in the house was configured to detect. The Beagle mix was at the door when they came home. It assessed the baby with a specific attention it had been giving the baby for a week. The close, purposeful reading of something that has information and is gathering more. Then it stepped back. Whatever it had been monitoring was different now. Changed. Moving in a better direction. It lay down. The family stood in the entry hall of their house and looked at the animal lying on the floor. The small, uncelebrated creature that had done what it had done. Not because anyone asked, not because there was reward in it, but because it had noticed something, and noticing required a response. That was all. That was everything. They sat on the floor beside it, all of them, in the entry hall, on the floor, in the specific way that families sit on the floor when something large has passed and the ordinary surfaces of the house don't feel adequate to what they need to sit with. The animal put its head down. Outside, the afternoon moved toward evening with the usual indifference of afternoons. The light changed. The neighborhood made its sounds. Inside, the family breathed. The baby was fine. The animal was settled. The window they had not known was closing had been held open by something that could not tell them what it knew, that could only show them, every day, with its body and its presence, and its refusal to do anything other than what it had decided it needed to do. They stayed on the floor until it was dark. Nobody wanted to move yet. They were still arriving at where they had been taken. Outside the window, the first star appeared in the strip of sky between the houses. The Beagle mix sighed once, the long, complete exhale of a creature at rest, and did not move again that evening. They did not move either. They stayed until they were ready, until the ordinary gravity of the house had reasserted itself. Dinner, baths, the bedtime routines that structure the night. And they could trust their legs to carry them back into it. Then they stood up. The animal watched them go,